So last week I was at Lowe's and I saw a pair of earbuds and I thought, who would go to Lowe's to buy a pair of earbuds? Like, these cannot be good earbuds. They're from a brand that makes power tools. But then I thought, well, if they're job site earbuds, they pretty much have to have great ANC. They probably have great durability, and they might have a couple other really interesting features, which got me wondering, are these terrible earbuds or are these actually really great earbuds? So I took a picture of them and I posted it, and I asked you guys, should I buy these and should I test them? And absolutely everybody said yes. Hundreds and hundreds of responses saying yes, 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 get them. I've always wondered about them. Like, are they actually good earbuds? So I went back to Lowe's on a mission to buy these earbuds. I got to the aisle and they were completely sold out. Like, not a single one on the shelf. There's plenty of other things around, but apparently these are really popular earbuds. Like, people are buying these. All right, so these are tougher to get than I thought. I went back to Lowe's and went right to the aisle where I saw them before. They were completely sold out. Everyone is buying these apparently. So we're gonna have to order them online. We're gonna have to wait a couple more days. And I'm really excited to see, like, people are actually buying these. How good are they? All right, so on Amazon, the plot thickens. There's actually 2 different pairs of earbuds. These are the ones I saw at Lowe's, but there's an even more premium version, the X2s, which have better ANC, they have pro audio, they have those little wingtips on them, and overnight delivery, arriving by 7 a.m. tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna buy, and we'll see. Like, $130, that's a very competitive price point. There's a lot of earbuds at that price. We'll see how these actually compare. So, here they are, the DeWalt earbuds that I ordered on Amazon. They showed up 2 days later, a little bit slower on shipping. Let's open them up and see if these are actually good earbuds. It looks like they come with, what is this? Oh, wow. Okay, so there's a fabric case, the first thing in the box. It looks like the charging case can go in a fabric case, I assume. Then we've got, oops, the box was kind of upside down. All right, so first impression, the earbuds case is absolutely gigantic. This is not going to be like a super pocketable thing, but if you have larger like cargo pants or jeans, like, yeah, you totally could put these in your pocket. The hook on the top, I think, makes sense for anybody who's probably going to be hanging these in a shop, like hang them on a nail or put them on a lanyard. That's actually pretty smart. I wish more earbuds had something like that. And I think, unlike most earbuds, which kind of flip open like a clamshell, where you drop it, it's going to fly open, this, I feel like it's going to be hard to drop this and have this fling open. But if you shake it, all right, light shake, moderate shake, all right, with some heavy shake, they do open, but you'll see when you open them this way, it doesn't, like, the earbuds don't fly out. I think that's a positive. But while I have it open, let's do a shake test and see how easily they fall out of this case, because they are kind of larger earbuds. If you see, whoa, look at that, that spins. Oh, that's cool. All right, we'll talk about that in a second, but let's see how they fall out of the case. Moderate shake. All right, so they come out with a little bit more than a moderate shake, but like I said, it's pretty much never gonna open up like that on its own. Now, before we get into the buds themselves, let's kind of look at what else is in the box. This feels kind of heavy. Looks like, wow, these come with, oh my gosh, look at that. That is a really large charging cable. Most earbuds come with like a 4-inch charging cable. This one looks like probably 3 feet. That's actually useful. That's pretty nice that they did that. We've got ear cushions in here and ear fins, so I'm really happy to see some ear fins. Let's check out the cushions first. Looks like we've got some silicone tips, 3 different sizes, and I assume the mediums are probably already on there, 2 sizes of memory foam cushions. So memory foam is probably going to do a much better job, just like we see on the Sony earbuds, of blocking out sound. So the noise cancellation, I expect, probably should be really good on these. The ear fins, oh, that's nice. Look at these. These have different wingtips you can put on there so they stay in your ears. So let's get into the earbuds now. You can see the buds themselves are fairly large. They're definitely chunky earbuds when you look at them from the side here. I'll try to get some B-roll and show you. But the foam tip, oh, it's a nice foam that you can compress and it expands in your ear. We've got an LED light on the back side there so you can see if it's in pairing mode. And then this is, I believe, this is going to be a volume dial with a button in the middle. So it's nice that these are not capacitive touch. Oh, look at this. They also come with a sticker. That's funny. And there's got to be an app for these. It looks like a warranty there. It looks like to pair them, there's a button. I'm going to press and hold that. I don't see an indicator light. Oh, there is an indicator. There's a light on the end. It's not that bright, but it looks like it's blinking. Probably can't see that on camera. All right, so these are connected. Looking a little bit closer to the case, I believe this is IP54 water resistant, both the earbuds and the case. So kind of like seeing cases with a water resistance rating. We've got our charging on the top right there. I don't know if this has, it doesn't look like it would have wireless charging. There's not a good flat spot here, but we have a couple little LED indicators on the top. It looks like That would be for maybe the battery level. If we open it, yeah, it shows me 3 bars on the battery, and then we can put into pairing mode. All right, now for a wireless charging test, I've got my little wireless charging pad here. It is just a MagSafe pad, but you can see if I set other wireless charging earbuds on there, the light will turn on. Let's see if I can get this lined up right. There we go. And so, yeah, wireless charging works here. But let's try it on the DeWalt earbuds. I don't even know, maybe like this way? No. The back? No. I'm going to say these seem to not have wireless charging. I would say it'd be great if it went like right there. I feel like that's the way it would make the most sense, just like on the bottom. But even though it feels a little magnetic, it's not, it doesn't seem to be charging wirelessly. No wireless charging on these earbuds. Let's take these out, and I'm going to put them in my ear, see how. I don't believe there's an app with these, by the way. I did some digging. I don't see any. I thought I heard a mention of an app, but there's no mention of an app in the manual. I couldn't find anything in the App Store. So if you guys know about an app, definitely leave a comment and let me know. But I'm fairly, it seems like these probably don't have an app. So the earbuds, when you put them in, it tells you that they turned on. Super secure, very, very comfortable. I feel like these are, let's do kind of a head shake test. I don't think these are going to fall out though. Yeah, so these are among the most secure earbuds I've ever worn. I think I might eventually get some fatigue from wearing them, but that little wingtip on there really grabs the inside of my ear. I'll get a close-up shot and show you, just like these are staying in so well. And so, okay, let's set them up with my phone. If I go to, say, Spotify. All right, so if I turn the wheel, you can see the volume goes up and down. Let's see what these buttons do. If I push the left button, that is play and pause. Can I double press it? Yes, that'll restart the song. It'll go back. And if I triple press it, okay, that opens up Siri. Okay. And then if I press and hold, it switches between EQ modes. So it tells me nothing if I'm not playing music. With music. All right, music mode, podcast mode. Looks like we got a couple different EQs like that. Super bass mode. And then on the right earbud, I can press once to play pause. I can double press to go forward a song. Triple press does nothing. And then press and hold toggles between my noise cancellation mode. So I want to talk about ANC. I think that is really potentially going to be one of the big selling points of these earbuds. But let's talk about the sound quality first. Let me listen to a couple songs and we'll see how these sound. All right, so the audio quality is kind of what you'd expect from a power tool company making earbuds. I think they're definitely muddy. They surprisingly don't get that loud. I really thought volume was going to be like a high level thing on these, but they don't. Even at max volume, I feel like I can still pretty comfortably listen to these. Normally, I don't get above like 70% on a lot of earbuds. Just, I don't know, I don't want to crank them super loud, but these are not incredibly loud. The sound, like I said, definitely a little bit muddy, definitely kind of congested. They sound a lot more like maybe a $75 pair of earbuds as far as the audio quality goes. Now, let's take a look at if these have mono mode and, of course, how the microphones sound. Like, can you answer a phone call when there's a lot of sound, maybe in the shop, for example, or just in general? And do these sound good in a phone call? But let's start off with seeing if they have mono mode. So just the left earbud while the right one's in the case. Yep, it works. Now let's do just the right earbud while the left one is in the case. All right, that works. Also, let's see if they have play and pause. So it plays when they go in my ears, and it automatically pauses when I take them out. Okay, so a lot of the standard stuff you'd expect to see in earbuds, these definitely do have.
Starting off with the indoor microphone test, one thing I noticed, by the way, is when I was connecting these to both iOS and Android, you have to go into Bluetooth settings to do that. There is no Google Fast Pair on these. You can't just open it and have it pop up on your phone. But after the first time you pair it, obviously every time you open it, it'll automatically connect to your phone. But for the first time, you will have to go into settings to pair it. All right, now out here in a louder environment, let me know if you can hear what I'm saying. There's obviously some traffic behind me. Not really a lot of wind right now, but this is kind of funny. I noticed somebody said this on my original post. Maybe like the DeWalt brand is valuable in that, like, maybe you could just slip it into like an expense report and it looks like a tool if you're trying to expense it. I don't know. It's a possibility.
All right, now let's test out the transparency and the ANC. So switching over to transparency, let's see, I can hear everything around me. These sound a little bit compressed, a little bit less loud. I think it's like a passable transparency. You can, like, for safety reasons, if you have to hear what's around you, you definitely can. But it doesn't sound very natural. I think I would give these like maybe a C, Yeah, I'd give them a C, a solid C grade on the transparency. While as something like AirPods or Bose, and even Sony's getting up there as well. Those are definitely more like the A plus range. And I think if you look at something like ultra cheap that might not even have transparency, being that down in the F range, these are somewhere in the middle, passable but not great. Now the ANC. Let's finally get into an ANC test. I'm gonna play off camera. I'm just gonna play some white noise at like a set distance away, turn up that volume, and see at what level these are no longer able to block it out. And I could say this right off the bat. I'll measure the lower frequencies. The higher frequencies, even without ANC, because these have foam tips, these are already blocking out a lot. Like I feel like when I don't have transparency on, I really have to yell because I just don't hear that much here. All right, so I spent a pretty good amount of time testing the ANC with these earbuds, and I have some thoughts and some numbers here. Starting off with the numbers, I was blocking up to 48 decibels. That was the level at which I was really able to hear the sound I was playing through the earbuds. So they were blocking up to 48. A higher number is better. So for reference, the Bose earbuds, which is really the industry leader right now, was up at about 54 decibels in this test. So a 6 decibel difference right there. But another reference point, the $68 CMF Buds 2 Plus, so about half the price, we're blocking 47 decibels, so 1 decibel less. And to be fair, Bose, Sony, and AirPods are kind of like way over alone on their own island in performance in that, and I would say probably about 85% of the market is in the same range as these DeWalt earbuds. So for ANC, they do a good enough job for those low droning frequencies, but where they really shine is going to be any higher frequencies. And let's be honest, a lot of power tools tend to be higher frequencies anyway. So that kind of makes sense. The foam ear tips are really doing a lot there. And kind of just in general, the foam ear tips block a lot more than the actual ANC inside the earbuds. Now the battery life on these is claimed to be up to 40 hours when you include the case. I assume that's with ANC off, so that's a pretty long battery life with the with ANC on. Maybe you'd expect like 25 to 30% less battery life, so maybe on the range of like 30 hours with the case. Considering how large the case is, I kind of expected it to be a little longer, but that is still pretty solid. That's just such a cool, satisfying case though. All right, so what's my conclusion on these earbuds? Well, there are some things that I think other earbuds could copy. Like I really like the durable case. I like the idea that it closes this way, so if you drop it, it's not gonna fall out. The hook on the top, I mean, if it's a larger case, that makes sense. But for something like, AirPods or kind of smaller everyday earbuds, it doesn't really make sense to have a bulky big case like this. This one's going to be more beneficial so you don't lose it, so you don't smash it. Like these are job site earbuds, and the case makes sense in that aspect. The buds themselves, super secure, so you're not going to drop them or they're not going to fall out. So you totally could use these if you're working out. You could use them, a job site, again, makes sense for these, and kind of just everyday wear. They are definitely a little bit bulky, but the yellow on the outside clearly shows like earbuds are in your ear, so nobody's going to try to talk to you if you have them in. I like the rotating wheel. I could see that maybe being an issue if you accidentally bump it, but having physical buttons and a rotating wheel means that these are easy to use if your hands are cold, if they're wet, if you're wearing gloves, in any environment. And I think, again, that's something that I would kind of like to see other earbuds copy. Overall, the physical design, I think on these, I have to give probably an A-. Like I like a lot about these earbuds. They're just a little bit on the bulky side for me. That's the only reason I don't give them a higher score, but I think they did a lot right here. I think it looks really cool. The downside with these is that there is no app, so you really don't have any kind of customization on them. The sound quality really, in my opinion, sounds like $75 to $80 pair of earbuds. The ANC is okay, and I think the foam ear tips really lend them a lot here, and they really help them out a ton, but they're nowhere near the level of the flagship earbuds out there. I was really hoping these would be better. I thought maybe they'd be like a hidden gem, but unfortunately, like it's okay, it's decent ANC, but I'd say it's very middle of the pack as far as earbuds go. And there's other earbuds that like $100-ish that provide similar ANC, and if you just get foam ear tips, they may even be potentially better than these. The microphones, I think you guys heard how those sound, and you can leave a comment and let me know what you thought about that, like if that's good enough or if it's passable, or if you really want something better. Like again, a lot of other earbuds that that's the whole company focus, is to make better quality audio and microphones and stuff. This is kind of no surprise that they sounded the way they did. So overall conclusion here, I think DeWalt did a really good job on the design here. They did a lot of good work in the space spaces that they're already an expert in, but the spaces that other earbud companies are better at, like audio, ANC, microphones, these definitely fell short. So are these worth $130? I mean, if all you care about is the design, you don't really care that much about audio quality or ANC quality, then, I mean, go ahead and get these. These are definitely unique. But if you're just looking for the best earbuds you can buy, I think there are better values at this price, again, depending on what your needs are. So leave a comment, let me know what you think of these, and let me know if you thought this video was interesting. I was just really interested in trying out these earbuds, but I found out there's also some from Milwaukee and some from Cat, like Caterpillar Cat. If you guys want, I can make videos about, I can buy those and test those out as well. And definitely leave a comment. Let me know if I should be doing that next. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike O'Brien, and I will see you in another video.